Well, hello everyone. My name is Swamp, and I'm going to try something a little different today. Because I've been wanting to play Mass Effect again, and we had this hearing about UFOs, I have to combine them both. Of course. I mean, what else would you do? Since we learned that the Reapers are actually coming to attack our planet now, according to whistleblowers. I don't know. Whatever happened at this hearing, I have no idea. We're about to find out. And I'm also raising money for my new Revolver. So if you want to support the channel and get a Super Chat Jukebox song activated, please do.
Months now in the White House. Can you take us behind the scenes, something that was extraordinary or unusual that happened that stands out to you?
Here's the deal. I want to say, I like to walk out in my robe and go in.
The Super Chat Jukebox. I guess it kind of worked on the first try this time. I don't know. I don't even remember the last time I've streamed on a Wednesday is. So, we'll see how this goes. So, yeah. Let's get into it. Let's see here. Where is it at? There we go. The Mass Effect music's playing at least. And let me know. I can change the screen ratio here. I was just messing around with this, and I thought it would be fun. Why not? I feel like Mass Effect is too freaking loud. Well, let's find out. Let's find out.
Thank you, Mr. Moskowitz, and I would yield back now to our chairman. Thank you.
That's all right.
Right, now I'd like to introduce our witnesses. Our first witness is Lieutenant Ryan Graves. He's the Executive Director of Americans for Safe Aerospace. Lieutenant Graves is also a former U.S. Navy F-18 pilot with his own UAP experience. The next witness, David Grush, is a former senior
they still call them they call them UAPs now, which is lame. They're UFOs. They're UFOs.
Was a senior technical advisor for UAP issues. And finally, retired Navy Commander.
Oh wait, is it just loading my old
David
game?
Fravor, squadron leader who worked as a naval aviator for 18 years. Mr. Fravor has his own UAP experience, known as the TikTok event. I look forward to hearing from all three of you today.
TikTok
pursuant
event.
to Committee Rule 9G, the witnesses will please stand and raise their right hands.
I could change. Yeah, you
solemnly swear.
Let me know if you want me to switch
the testimony you are about to give is the
so that the hearing is bigger and the game is smaller. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Maybe that's the way to do it.
Let the record show that all the witnesses answered in the affirmative. You may be seated. We appreciate you all being here today and look forward to your testimony. I'll remind the witnesses that we have read your written statements and they will appear in full in the hearing record. Please try to limit your oral statements to 5 minutes. As a reminder, please press the button on the microphone in front of you so that it's on and the members can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you will turn green. After 4 minutes, it'll turn
How about
yellow,
that? There we go.
And the red light, when that comes on, it tells you your 5 minutes have expired. I'll now recognize Mr. Graves for 5 minutes for your opening statement.
What the heck?
Thank you. Chairman Grothman, Ranking Member Garcia, distinguished members of the House Oversight Subcommittee on National Security, Representatives Burchett and Luna. My name is Ryan Fobbs Graves, and I am a former F-18 pilot with a decade of service in the U.S. Navy, including 2 deployments in Operation Enduring Freedom and Operation Inherent Resolve. I have experienced advanced UAP firsthand, and I'm here to voice the concerns of more than 30 commercial aircrew and military veterans who have confided their similar encounters with me. Today, I would like to highlight 3 critical issues that demand our action. As we convene
I've just seen some random things about it
Here,
online.
UAP are in our airspace,
But I haven't watched
but
it
they are
yet,
grossly
obviously.
underreported. These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine. Military aircrew and commercial pilots, trained observers whose lives depend on accurate identification, are frequently witnessing these phenomena. The stigma attached to UAP is real and powerful and challenges national security. It silences commercial pilots who fear professional repercussions, discourages witnesses, and is only compounded by recent government claims questioning the credibility of eyewitness testimony. Parts of our government are aware of more about UAP than they let on, but excessive classification practices keep crucial information hidden. Since 2021, all UAP videos are classified as secret or above. This level of secrecy not only impedes our understanding, but fuels speculation and mistrust. In 2014, I was an F-18 Foxtrot pilot in the Navy Fighter Attack Squadron 11, the Red Rippers, and I was stationed at NAS Oceana in Virginia Beach. After upgrades were made to our jet's radar systems, we began detecting unknown objects operating in our airspace. At first, we assumed they were radar
It was the
errors,
Reapers,
but
I'm
soon
telling
we
you.
began to correlate the radar tracks with multiple onboard sensors, including infrared systems, eventually through visual ID. During a training mission in Warning Area Whiskey 72, 10 miles off the coast of Virginia Beach, two F-18 Super Hornets were split by a UAP. The object, described as a dark gray or a black cube inside of a clear sphere, came within 50 feet of the lead aircraft and was estimated to be 5 to 15 feet in diameter. The mission commander terminated the flight immediately and returned to base. Our squadron submitted a safety report, but there was no official acknowledgement of the incident and no further mechanism to report the sightings. Soon, these encounters became so frequent that aircrew would discuss the risk of UAP as part of their regular pre-flight
The edited
briefs.
version. What's the edited version?
Recognizing the need for action and answers, I founded Americans for Safe Aerospace. The organization has since become a haven for UAP witnesses who were previously unspoken due to the absence of a safe intake process. More than 30 witnesses have come forward, and almost 5,000 Americans have joined us in the fight for transparency at safeaerospace.org. The majority of witnesses are commercial pilots at major airlines. Often, they are veterans with decades of flying experience. Pilots are reporting UAP at altitudes that appear above them at 40,000 feet.
Do I have
lower in
a
orbit
censored
or in the gray
version of
zone
the
below
UFO
common
hearing?
line.
Did the government
Making
already come in and change it?
inexplicable maneuvers like right-hand turns and retrograde orbits.
Oh, you mean
or
just at the
payloads.
beginning of the
Sometimes these
at the beginning of the hearing? Oh yeah, I skipped it. You can see. Yeah, it goes. Yeah, at the very beginning. I skipped that. I was like, yeah, I don't want to hear all this. I want to get to the. Yeah, the actual witnesses.
These reports are reoccurring, with numerous recent sightings north of Hawaii and in the North Atlantic. Other veterans are also coming forward to us regarding UAP encounters in our airspace and oceans.
I've streamed
Most
enough
compelling
hearings now
observations of
on
UAP by multiple
YouTube
witnesses
to
and
know
sensor
that I should just
systems.
skip
I believe
the
these
opening
accounts
statements.
are only scratching the surface, and more will share their experiences once it is safe to do so. In closing, I recognize the skepticism surrounding this topic. If everyone could see the sensor and video data I witnessed, our national conversation would change. I urge us to put aside stigma and address the security and safety issue this topic represents. If UAP are foreign drones, it is an urgent national security problem.
Nah,
If
man.
it is something else,
The
it is an
UAPs
issue
are the
for
Reapers,
science.
I'm telling you.
In either case, unidentified objects are concerned for flight safety. The American people deserve to know what is happening in our skies. It is long overdue. Thank you.
Mr. Rush?
Is that what this whole thing's going to be? Is mainly people just
Mr.
saying
Chairman, ranking
it's
members
long
and
overdue,
congressmen,
and
thank
no
you.
one's
I'm
no
happy
one
to
shows
be here.
anything?
This is an important issue, and I'm grateful for your time. My name is David Charles Grush. I was an intelligence officer for 14 years both in
Yeah,
the
but
U.S.
did
Air
you-
Force,
did you serve
both
aboard
active duty
the Normandy
Air National
with
Guard and Reserve
Shepard?
at the
That's the
rank of
question.
major, and most recently from 2021 to 2025, or excuse me, 2023, at the National Geospatial
He's a time
Intelligence
traveler. He
Agency,
admitted it.
NGA, at the GS-15 civilian level, which is the military equivalent of a full bird colonel. I was my agency's co-lead in unidentified anomalous phenomena and transmedium object analysis, as well as reporting to the UAP task force, UAPTF, and eventually, once it was established, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, ARROW. I became a whistleblower through a PPD 19 urgent concern filing in May 2022 with the Intelligence Community Inspector General. Following concerning reports from multiple esteemed and credentialed current and former military and intelligence community individuals that the U.S. government is operating with secrecy above congressional oversight with regards to UAPs. My testimony is based on information I've been given by individuals with a long-standing track record of legitimacy and service to this country, many of whom also have shared compelling evidence in the form of photography, official documentation, and classified oral testimony to myself and my various colleagues. I have taken every step I can to corroborate this evidence over a period of 4 years while I was with the UAP Task Force and do my due diligence on the individual sharing it. This is because of these steps, I believe strongly in the importance of bringing this information before you. I am driven by a commitment of both to truth and transparency, rooted in our inherent duty to uphold the United States Constitution and protect the American people.
From aliens.
I'm asking Congress to hold our government to this standard and thoroughly investigate these claims. But as I stand here under oath now, I am speaking to the facts as I've been told them. In the U.S. Air Force, in my National Reconnaissance Office, NRO, reservist capacity, I was a member of the UAP Task Force from 2019 to 2021. I served at the NRO Operations Center on the Director's briefing staff, which included the coordination of the Presidential Daily Brief and supporting variety of contingency operations, which I was the Reserve Intelligence Division Chief backup. In 2019, the UAP Task Force Director asked me to identify all special access programs and controlled access programs, also known as SAPs and CAPs, we needed to satisfy our congressionally mandated mission, and we were direct report at the time to the DepSecDef. At the time, due to my extensive executive level intelligence support duties, I was cleared to literally all relevant compartments and in a position of extreme trust, both in my military and civilian capacities. I was informed in the course of my official duties of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program, to which I was denied access to those additional read-ons when I requested it.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
I made the decision, based on the data I collected, to report this information to my superiors and multiple inspectors general, and in effect becoming a whistleblower. As you know, I've suffered retaliation for my decision, but I am hopeful that my actions will ultimately lead to a positive outcome of increased transparency. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you. Commander Fravor?
Obviously, the first question is, do you have any proof of what you just said?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Congressman, Congresswoman. I want to first thank you for the invitation to speak to the committee on the UAP topic that's been in the news for the past 6 years and seems to be continuing to gain momentum.
Stop calling them UAPs. They're UFOs.
I'm a retired commander in the United States Navy. In 2004, I was a commanding officer of Strike Fighter Squadron 41, the world-famous Black Aces. We were attached to Carrier Wing 11, stationed on board the USS Nimitz, and had begun a 2-month workup cycle off the coast of California. On this day, we were scheduled for a 2v2 air-to-air training with the USS Princeton as our control. When we launched off Nimitz, my wingman was joining up. We were told that the training was going to be suspended and we were going to proceed with real-world tasking. As we proceeded to the west, the air controller was counting down the range to an object that we were going to, and we were unaware of what we were going to see when we arrived. The controller had told us that these objects had been observed for over 2 weeks, coming down from over 80,000 feet, rapidly descending to 20,000 feet, hanging out for hours, and then going straight back up. For those who don't realize, above 80,000 feet is space. We arrived at the location at approximately 20,000 feet. The controller called merge plot, which means that our radar blip was now in the same resolution cell as the contact. As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some whitewater off our right side. It's important to note that the weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego. Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, no whitecaps from waves. So the whitewater stood out in a large blue ocean. All 4 of us, because we were in F-18Fs, so we had pilots and Wizzo in the back seat, looked down saw a white tic-tac object with a longitudinal axis pointing north-south.
Oh, is this the one that we've heard about tons of times?
like a ping pong ball. There were no rotors, no rotor wash, or any sign of visible control surfaces.
The one that has been reported on by
object, my Wizzo and I
everyone like it was just unsolicited, released by the Pentagon,
to observe both us and the Tic Tac.
which seems strange.
We proceeded around the circle about 90 degrees from the start of our descent, and the object suddenly shifted its longitudinal axis, aligned it with my aircraft, and began to climb. We continued down another 270 degrees, nose low, where the Tic Tac, or we considered 270 degrees to where, and we went nose low to where the Tic Tac would have been. Our altitude at this point was about 15,000 feet, and the Tic Tac was about 12,000. As we pulled nose onto the object, within about a half mile of it, it rapidly accelerated in front of us and disappeared. Our wingmen, roughly 8,000 feet above us, lost contact also. We immediately turned back to see where Whitewater was at, and it was gone also. So as you started to turn back toward...
I forgot to turn my chat to live chat instead of top chat. You filthy bastards.
Towards the east, the controller came up and said, "Sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cat point, roughly 60 miles away in less than a minute. You can calculate the speed." We returned to Nimitz. We were taking off our gear. We were talking to one of my crews that was getting ready to launch. We mentioned it to them, and they went out and luckily got the video that you see, that 90-second video. What you don't see is the radar tape that was never released, and we don't know where it's at, of the active jamming that the object put on an APG-73 radar, and I can get into modes later if you're interested. What is shocking to us is that the incident was never investigated. None of my crew were ever questioned. Tapes were never taken, and after a couple days, it turned into a great story with friends. It wasn't until 2009 until Jay Stratton had contacted me to investigate. Unbeknownst to all, he was part of the ATIP program in the Pentagon led by Lou Elizondo. There was an unofficial official report that came out that's now on the internet. Years later, I was contacted by the other pilot, Alex Dietrich, and asked if I'd been contacted, and I said no, but I'm willing to talk. I was contacted by Mr. Elizondo, and we talked for a short period of time, and he said we'd be in contact. A few weeks after that, I was made aware that Lou had left the Pentagon in protest and joined forces with Tom DeLonge, Chris Mellon, Steve Justice, and others to form Two Stars Academy, an organization that pressed the issue with leading industry experts and U.S. government officials. They worked with Leslie Keane, who is present today, Rob
Are we all
Cooper,
thinking that Elizondo's actually legit now? Is that what we're thinking?
New York Times. And
I've seen tons of stuff.
On the topic of UFOs, which is why we're here
today. It seems to be up for debate with most people.
Those articles open the door for the government and public that cannot be closed. It has led to an interest from our elected officials who are not focused on little green men, but figuring out where these craft are, where are they from, the technology they possess, how do they operate. It also led to the Whistleblower Protection Act.
How did that happen?
There are multiple witnesses coming forward to say that have firsthand knowledge, and Mr. Grush just covered that. What concerns me is that there's no oversight from our elected officials on anything associated with our government processing or working on craft. Believe it not from this world. This issue is not a full public disclosure that could undermine national security, but it is about ensuring that our system of checks and balances works across all work done in the government using taxpayer funds. Relative to government programs, even unacknowledged WAVE programs have some level of oversight by the appropriate committee members in the House and Senate, and this work that is said to be occurring from whistleblower testimonies should not be exempt. In closing, I would like to say that the Tic Tac object we engaged in 2004 was far superior to anything that we had on time, have today, or are looking to develop in the next 10 years. If we in fact have programs that possess this technology, it needs to have oversight from those people that the citizens of this great country elected in office to represent what is best for the United States and best for the citizens. I thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I know it's very difficult.
Is there anything worthwhile in this? We assume no.
I'm going to start with Mr. Graves. Are pilots that you interact with as part of your organization, do you feel adequately trained and briefed on how to handle encounters with UAPs?
No. Right now, military witnesses to UAP have limited.
Well, there's no way you could be
UAP.
adequately prepared for a UAP.
More concerning is that commercial aviation sector has not adapted to the lessons that the military has implemented. The military and Department of Defense has stated that UAP represent a critical aviation safety risk. We have not seen that same language being used in the commercial markets. They are not acknowledging this risk.
Okay. What steps do you think have to be taken to improve a pilot's UAP reporting, be it military or commercial?
Right now, we need a system where pilots can report without fear of losing their jobs. There is a fear that the stigma associated with this topic is going to lead to professional repercussions, either through management or perhaps through their yearly physical check. So having a secure system, reducing the stigma, and making this information available through the public is going to reduce the concerns that aircrew have.
Could you just give me a little idea of the degree to which reports in the past are not made public right now?
Well, I don't think there has been a proper reporting system to gather those reports and thus not report them. So to answer your question, I think there is a dearth of data due to the fact that the reporting has been limited up to this time.
Could you tell me why you believe it's, kind of to play the devil's advocate, a reason why some of this stuff should not be available to the public?
There's certainly some national security concerns when we use our advanced sensors in our tactical jets to be able to identify these objects. However, there's no reason that the objects themselves would be classified. I would be curious to see how the security classification guideline actually spells out the different nuances of how this topic is classified.
Man, these guys are way boring. Holy crap. How are you going to take aliens and make it boring? I'm switching this. Oh, what the heck? Wait. Wait a minute. I clicked the wrong one. Now that's what I'm talking about.
From the perspective of UAP, not national security.
I'll give you a follow-up on that. Assuming that there are reasons why not all this should be made public. Good luck. This has been around for a long period of time.
We are approaching drop point 2.
Can any of the three of you think of any reason why anything related to UAPs, say 15 years and back, should not be immediately made public?
Ship perimeter secure, Commander.
I think one of it is acknowledging a vulnerability, both from a collection
And
obviously
acknowledging that they're
from
big
a
fat
countermeasure
liars.
perspective. So it's,
We'll go with say
that we haven't cracked for many years. Yeah.
even say 20 years back. Is there any reason why when you go back that far things shouldn't be made public?
Unless it shows a specific national security vulnerability as it relates to a weakness in a particular defense system.
Okay, Mr. Fravor, the TikTok incident that you were engaged occurred in 2004. What kind of reporting took place after that incident?
None. We had a standard debrief where the backseaters went down to our carrier intel center and briefed what had happened.
Oh, did I
And
lose
that was it.
connection?
No one else talked to us, and I was in the top 20 in the battle group. No one came. The captain was aware, the admiral was aware, nothing was done.
Your commanding officers provide any sort of justification?
No,
Whoa,
'cause
the
I wasn't
controls for
commanding
this are
officer
funky. I haven't
of the
played this one in a
squadron,
while.
so, no.
Was this incident the only UAP event that you encountered while you were a pilot?
Yes, it was.
Okay. This is for any one of you. Based off of each of your experiences and observations, do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Well, that's what they've been
Yes.
saying this whole time.
Here's
What is
why.
this guy talking about?
The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, and you could put that anywhere. If you had one, you captured one, you reverse engineered it, you got it to work, you're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
Okay.
Ominous. It's like
I would
the
also like to
Reapers,
add,
man.
From a commercial aviation and military aviation perspective, we deal with uncertainty in our operating space as a matter of our professional actions. Identifying friend from foe is very important to us. And so when we have unidentified targets and we continue to ignore those due to a stigma or a fear of what it could be, that's an opening that our adversaries can take advantage of.
What steps should be taken to better understand and respond to UAP encounters in the interest of national security?
There needs to be a location where this information is centralized for processing, and there needs to be a two-way communication
on.
loop so the operators on the front end have a feedback and can get best practices on how to process information, what to do, and to ensure that their reporting is being listened to. Right now, there is not a lot of back and forth.
Mr. Grush, in your complaint to the intelligence community Inspector General.
Over here, you
what
bastard.
information is being hidden. What kind of information do you think was hidden? Do you think it should remain hidden?
Yes, I can speak to that very briefly in an unclassified manner. As you know, the preponderance of my complaint was classified to the intelligence communities. Both material acquisition and exploitation activity, also baselining the UAPs but not sharing it with, intelligence professionals that are actually doing step briefs to pilots, that kind of information. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll go to Mr. Garcia.
Thank you. Again, thank you all for your service and for testifying today. Want to just talk about the UAPs as it relates to what we're seeing in the pilots' interaction with UAPs. Particularly, Mr. Graves, one of the, I think, concerns for members of this committee is this idea that pilots, there's no system to actually report UAPs and the stigma around pilots. And so can you just briefly, you mentioned you're working with 30 pilots right now that have had encounters with UAPs, but you've also, I believe, discussed and know of many more pilots. This is just those that you're currently working with. Is that correct? Can you expand on that?
Certainly. I'll break that down in two ways. First, when we were first experiencing these objects off the eastern seaboard in the 2014 to 2015 time period, anyone that had upgraded their radar systems were seeing these objects. So there was a large number of my colleagues that were detecting these objects off the eastern seaboard. They were further correlating that information with their other onboard sensors, and many of them also had their own eye sightings as well of these objects. Now, that was our personal first-hand experience at the time. Since then, as I've engaged this topic, others have reached out to me to share their experiences, both on the military side as well as the commercial aviation side. On the military aviation side, veterans that have recently got out have shared their stories and have expressed how the objects we were seeing in 2014, 2015 continued all the way to 2019, 2020, and beyond. And so it became a generational issue for naval aviators on the eastern seaboard. This was something we were briefing to new students. This is something that was included in the notice to airmen to ensure that there was no accidents. And now with commercial aviators, they're reaching out because they're having somewhat similar experiences as our military brothers and sisters, but they do not have any reporting system that they can send us to.
And let me just add, both to Mr. Fravor as well as Mr. Graves, not having this system for reporting, would you both agree that it's harmful to not just our national security interests, but to understand this phenomenon of what's happening with UAPs?
I think it's actually a travesty that we don't have a system to correlate this and actually investigate. So if you took the East Coast, there's coastal radars out there that monitor our air defense identification zone, so out to 200 miles. They can track these, so when you see them, they could actually go and pull that data and get maneuvering. And instead of just having the airplanes, there's other data sources out there. And I've talked to other government officials on this. So you need a centrally located repository that these reports go to. So if you just stuck it in DOD, you wouldn't get anything out of the Intelligence Committee because they have a tendency to not to talk. But if you had a central location where these reports would come in, not just
they have a
military,
tendency
but also
not to
commercial
talk.
aviation, because there's a lot of that going on, especially if you talk to anyone that flies from here to Hawaii. Over the Pacific, they see odd lights. So I think you need to develop something that allows you a central point
in
to
commercial
collect the data
flights, people see
in
this?
order to investigate.
Mr. Graves?
I would concur with everything Mr. Fravor said. I'll continue to say that the commercial pilots that have reached out to me through Americans for Safe Aerospace are doing so because they don't feel there's another way for them to report this safety issue.
And I think one of the clear outcomes of this hearing already is that there has to be a safe and transparent reporting process for pilots, both on the commercial side and the military side, to be able to report UAPs in a way that's also transparent, but also understands the scope of our national security interests and what may be classified or not. But I think there has to be some sort of system, and so that's something that I hope can be an outcome that this committee can work on. Is there anything else for the two of you briefly beyond this reporting system that you think that we can do as a government to encourage and facilitate more civilian reporting?
I think we're doing it right now.
Okay, great.
I think this hearing is going to show the American people that their government takes this topic seriously.
And how about civilians that may not be pilots? What kind of process could be in place for civilians who are not pilots, who may have UAP encounters? Do either of you have any suggestions that could facilitate that?
My recommendations would be to make that a sensor-centric operation in order to make it as objective as possible.
Okay. Sir, Mr. Fravor?
I agree with Mr. Graves on that.
Okay. No, these guys are wrong.
Just briefly, I also just want to
what you need to do
for the two pilots and
is
the
pull out
Mr.
your laser
one of the things I
cannon
found
and
fascinating
blow
in our
them up.
discussion with Mr. Graves last night as well is that you both described UAPs and formations and the way they are observed in space or in our air, and the way that they move is essentially ways in which current technology or aircraft that we know of are unable to actually function. And so will you just, for the public record, again, once again, just briefly just either describe or note that aircraft that are being witnessed, particularly by the 30 folks that you're working with, are essentially outside the scope of anything that we know of today and the technology we have today. Mr. Graves, Mr. Fravor?
Yes, the objects that are being seen by commercial pilots are performing maneuvers that are unexplainable due to our current understanding of our technology and our capabilities as a country, and that applies for the military as well.
Mr. Fravor?
Yeah, I concur with that. We have nothing that can stop in midair and go the other direction, nor do we have anything that can, like in our situation, come down from space, hang out for 3 hours, and go back up.
Thank you. My last question, and sometimes I know that you have also said some of these answers in the past, but we're trying to get them on the public record as well, which is really important. Mr. Gresh, finally, do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Oh, here we go.
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
And where?
I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General, and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
Thank you. And Mr. Chairman, I would just say that I think that these questions are important questions, and I look forward to being involved in the process to get those answered. I know there'll be a lot of questions from other committee members, so I yield back.
Thank you. We'll go to Mr. Burchett himself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, that was pointless. All he just said, "Oh yeah, they got him." I can't say where, what, how, or when, or anything, but they got him. They got him.
Chairman, thank you, Mr. Garcia. I would like to have you on my legislation to do just that on the reporting, and we'll get together on that. Maybe you can be my co-sponsor on that. That'd be really cool. Thank you for those great questions.
Were they great questions?
Mr. Graves.
Were they?
Again, I'd like to know, how do you know that these were not our aircraft?
Some of the behaviors that we saw in a working area, we would see these objects being at 0.0 Mach, that's zero airspeed, over certain pieces of the ground. So what that means, just like a river, if you throw a bobber in, it's going to float downstream. These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. These same objects would then accelerate to supersonic speeds, 1.1, 1.2 Mach, and they would do so in very erratic and quick behaviors that I don't have an explanation for.
Okay. Have you spoken to commercial and military pilots that have seen these off of our East Coast?
I have.
Okay. Mr. Fravor, I noticed that in the Tic Tac video, it's Tic Tac, like the candy, not TikTok, like the Chinese Communist app.
That's correct.
Yes, sir. I just want to make that.
Not like the Chinese
My daughter
Communist.
corrected me on that and called me a boomer and said, "Hey, boomer," and I said, "No, baby, it's Tic Tac, like the candy. You're gonna have to just look it up." And but now I would also like to say today
Tic Tac is not a candy, though.
First.
Tic Tac is
a miracle that we're
a
having
mint.
this meeting, and it's also a miracle that my wife has put up with me for 9 years today. Today is my anniversary, so I want to tell my wife happy anniversary and that I love her very much. As she likes to say, this 9 years have been the best 2 years of her life. So, thank you. Mr. Fravor, what astonished you the most about the flight capabilities of these Tic Tac, very briefly?
The performance.
Thank the maker.
Absolute performance. It was.
And you're not aware of any other objects that anybody in the world has, in this world, that has those capabilities?
No, I think it's far beyond actually our material science that we currently possess.
What are you doing here?
Are you aware of any other reconnaissance platforms that tracked or recorded the Tic Tac's maneuvers, maybe the NORAD system or any of the others?
I am not.
Okay. Mr. Grush, thank you for being here, brother. Thank you all very much. Have you faced any retaliation or reprisals for any of your testimony or anything on these lines?
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say in detail because there is an open whistleblower reprisal investigation on my behalf, and I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may help provide somebody information. But it was very brutal and very unfortunate, some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally
Oh,
and
excuse me.
personally, to be
Get
quite
up,
frank.
get the hell out of the way.
It's very unfortunate, as they say, when you're over the target, that's when they do the most firing at you. Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered?
Can you explain?
That you would think, that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Maybe in a, if we could get in a confidential area, SCIF, we could talk about that. But unfortunately, we were denied access to the SCIF, and that's very unfortunate in this scenario. Mr. Favor, do you believe that you witnessed an additional object under the water in relation to your encounter?
I will say we did not see an object. There was something there to cause the whitewater, and when we turned around, it was gone, so there was something there that obviously moved.
Okay, it was not the same object, though, that you were looking at, correct?
No, we actually joked that the Tic Tac was communicating with something when we came back, and because the whitewater disappeared.
We were, in another instance, we're told about the capabilities of a jamming during viewing of when there were some people chasing some of these objects. Did you experience any of that jamming or interrupting your radar or weapons system?
My crew that launched after we landed experienced significant jamming to the APG-73 radar, which was what we had on board, which is a mechanically scanned, very high-end system prior to the APG-79. And yes, it did pretty much everything you could do, range, velocity, aspect, and then it spit the lock, and the targeting pod is passive. That's what we were able to get the video on.
I'm about to run out of time, but are you aware of any of our enemies that have that capability?
No.
Okay, I would also like to note for the record that, like George Knapp, breaking Area 51, he's the reason I knew about that, and the reason I know about the Tic Tacs is Leslie Keene from New York Times article, and I would encourage everybody to read that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yield back to you for no time.
Very good. Mr. Raskin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Graves, you reported UAP encounters during training flights, I think, and have since come forward to warn the Pentagon that these encounters may be putting pilots at risk. My first question is, you've identified these as taking place on the East Coast. Is it just on the East Coast where these encounters have been reported?
No. Since the events initially occurred, I've learned that the objects have been detected essentially where all operations, Navy operations, are being conducted across the world. And that's from the All-Domain Anomaly Resolutions Office reporting.
All right, can you describe your experience after you decided to come forward and go public with your experience?
Certainly. Like many others, in 2017, I saw the New York Times article come out as well. And for me, it was special because I recognized the voices on the video. I recognized the video itself. I had seen it when it was taken. I seen it when it was debriefed.
Oh.
And
no one,
that was kind of shook me because I realized that this problem was still ongoing.
This weapon is
so I reached out to colleagues back on the East Coast and realized that this was still a safety risk that they were dealing with, that they had essentially hit a wall with how they could move forward on this conversation. It was at that point when I decided to try to move the conversation forward myself.
Commander, are there common characteristics to the UAPs that have been cited by different pilots, and can you describe what the convergence of descriptions is?
Certainly. We were primarily seeing dark gray or black cubes inside of
did I miss something?
Sphere.
Why is that guy?
Dark gray or black cubes?
Yes, inside.
Why is that guy wearing a
sphere,
bandana? Did I miss something?
The tips of the cube were touching the inside of that sphere.
Let me
that
see
was
this.
primarily what was being reported when we were able to gain a visual tally of these objects. And that occurred over almost 8 years. And as far as I know, it's still occurring.
So I take it that you're arguing what we need is real
I don't know why
transparency in
Raskin's wearing a
reporting
bandana.
system, so we can get some clarity on what's going on.
Guess he just
out
wants to look
there,
like a
because
G.
There are many pilots in your situation, but we should have a way of developing a systematic inventory of all of such encounters. Is that right?
Yes, and I think we need both transparency and the reporting. We have the reporting, but we need to make sure that information can be promulgated to commercial aviation as well as the rest of the populace.
Mr. Grush, what about you? What was your experience after you came forward?
The other one got here first.
Well, it's only been about 2 months or so, so I guess my experience has been overwhelming support from former colleagues of mine that have privately messaged me, and I do appreciate that. But I do have knowledge of active planned reprisal activity against myself and other colleagues, and it's very, very upsetting to me.
Coming from where?
Certain senior leadership at previous agencies I was associated with. And that's all I'll say publicly, but I can provide more details in a closed environment.
Okay. Well, I hope you understand that there would be bipartisan rejection of any attempt to vilify, demonize, or engage in other reprisals against our witnesses and people.
You might as well just say it at this point, right? I mean, how many other agencies? I mean, who could it be? I'm sure if you did some research, you would be able to find this out pretty easily.
As a leader, to see that happen to other coworkers and actually superiors of mine over the last 3 years.
How do you account for that response? That seems like a bizarre response.
I call it administrative terrorism. That's their quiver, their tool in the toolbox to silence people, especially the career government service cares about their career, cares about their clearance, their reputation to climb the ladder. And when you threaten that career path, a lot of people back off. But I'm here to represent those people. So,
Mr. Fravor, what about you? What has your experience been since you've come forward with your perspective on this?
Actually, I've been treated very well. And the 6 people that were involved, myself included, all of them have or will be retiring from the military as 05s or 06s. And all my friends that are very senior, 3 and 4 stars, I've talked to them. They believe. They understand there's a problem, but no, I was actually treated really well.
And what is your general interpretation of these phenomena, or what is your current thinking of trying to make sense of them?
Well, I'll say, I'm not like a UFO fanatic. It's not me, but I will tell you that what we saw with 4 sets of eyes over a 5-minute period, still. There's nothing, we have nothing close to it. It was amazing to see. I told my buddy I wanted to fly it, but yeah, it's just an incredible technology.
All right, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I'll yield back to you.
Thanks. On to Ms. Luna.
Mr. Grush, in speaking to you yesterday, I just wanted to follow up on Representative Raskin's questions. In the last couple of years, have you had incidences that have caused you to be in fear for your life for addressing these issues?
Yes, personally.
Okay. Yeah. I just want everyone to note that he's coming forward in fear of his life. To put in perspective, if they were really not scared about this information coming out, why would someone be intimidated like that? To your knowledge, are NHIs working with adversarial foreign governments in either technology exchange programs or back engineering programs?
I don't have data on that. I'm not sure.
Have you heard or you had people come forward to present that evidence?
Not that particular evidence that you just espoused.
Okay, on the 19th of April, Dr. Kirkpatrick, head of Aero, had said that he did not find any evidence of UAPs. You also stated that you had, in your interview, that you had briefed him on information that you were uncovering, but that he did not follow up with you. Were the items that you divulged to him pertinent to national security?
Yes, him and I had a classified conversation in April 2022 before he took over Aero in July 2022, and I provided him some concerns I had.
I'm starting to think they may not have much to.
Unfortunately, I cannot read his mind. I wish he
there might
did.
not be much here.
I was happy to give sage counsel to him on where to look when he took the helm of Aero.
Okay, and then my last question for you before I move to Mr. Graves is you received prior approval from the Defense Department to speak on certain issues, correct?
Correct, through DOPSR, DoD Pre-Publication and Security Review, and I just want to remind the public, they're just looking from a security perspective. These are my own.
I'm just going to go find the one,
not the department's.
Okay, I'm
the one
that,
clip
though,
that.
Because I think that there are many people that would like to discredit you. So it does bring a
I actually wanted to watch.
To your testimony.
I'm required by law to do that as a former intelligence officer.
How can you make a hearing about UAPs, as they call them? How can you make that boring? I mean, we could have more fun watching videos of UFOs. There we go. UFOs? Real ones, maybe? Well, there you go. Now we have seen UFOs. Get that freeze frame. Nice.
Officer, or I go to jail for revealing classified information.
Yeah, we don't want you to go to jail.
UFO.
My next question would actually be for Mr. Graves.
You know what? More UFOs.
UFO. UFO.
It looks like the one on the left is the alien police. And he just pulled this guy over on the right because he's the one on the left's got these lights going on. Sir, do you know how fast I clocked you going in over here? You can only go 10 times the speed of sound in this quadrant. I clocked you in at well over 25. I don't know. I just know there was one thing that I read that made me want to watch this, and I'm already bored with it. And I want to just find that clip. Or I can just go listen here. Okay, here's the woman that said it.
Do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Well, that seems like a dumb thing.
If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human?
Biologics.
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Do you believe our government has made contact?
Now, where the hell is that part of the... Let's see. Oh yeah, I forgot AOC was here. All right, sure. Let's see what AOC has to say. Does AOC believe in aliens? Does anybody know?
Access these programs.
Well, anybody who has...
and I say that because myself...
we're putting on the line here, and we thank you for that.
How to get it in the record.
What have you stated publicly in your interviews for the congressional record?
If you reference my News Nation interview, and I talk about a multi-decade, campaign to disenfranchise public interest, basically. Yeah.
Thank you.
I apologize, Mr. Chairman. I yield back negative 21 seconds.
Thank you. Ms. Ocasio-Cortez?
This guy doesn't know how to say Ocasio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
How long has she been there? He hasn't figured this out.
Here today, I do concur with the ranking member as well as several other members here on this committee that this is a committee for whistleblowers and for the protection of whistleblowers as well. So we understand what you're putting on the table here and what you're putting on the line here, and we thank you for that. Mr. Grush, you sat on the Unidentified Anomalous Phenomenon Task Force created in the 2020 NDAA, correct?
Yes.
There have been some things that have been mentioned here.
Is that actually true about Raskin, or are we making a joke? Why would he do that? Oh. Steven Van Zandt gifts. Okay. Jamie Raskin. So it was given to him and now he wears them. Okay. Well. He's still a goofball. Still a goofy looking guy. Oh, come on. There we go. Why would I want to listen to this? Oh. NPR. Never mind. Whatever.
Here during this hearing that I wanted to pick up on. Mr. Graves, you mentioned specifically during the answers to one of your questions, you named Boeing contractors being engaged in
AOC's into aliens?
This red
Actually into aliens?
A football field wide. I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about the interaction, or Mr. Grush, either of you, the interactions between defense contractor companies and any UAP-related programs or activities.
So I'll just say that the information about the contractor himself were provided by a witness, and I have no particular detail in that relationship.
Mr. Grush?
The kind of general unclassed wave tops, certainly the contractors, are the metal benders, so to speak, they're the ones actually doing specific performance on government contracts.
Are they required to issue any disclosure regarding UAP sightings, or do they engage in any reporting around this?
In terms of the contractors?
Yes.
Not that I'm aware of.
They do not. Okay. Now, when it comes to notification that you had mentioned about IRAD programs, we have seen defense contractors abuse their contracts before through this committee. I have seen it personally, and I have also seen the notification requirements to Congress abused. I am wondering, one of the loopholes that we see in the law is that there is, at least from my vantage point, is that depending on what we're seeing, is that there are no actual definitions or requirements for notification. What methods of notification did you observe? Like when they say they notified Congress, how did they do that? Do you have insight into that?
For certain IRAD activities, I can only think of ones conventional in nature. Sometimes they flow through certain, I'll just say, SAP programs that have cognizant authority over the Air Force or something, and those are congressionally reported compartments, but IRAD is literally internal to the contractor, so as long as it's money, either profits, private investment, et cetera, they can do whatever they want.
To put a finer point on it, when there is a requirement for any agency or company to notify Congress, do they contact the chairman of a committee? Do they get them on the phone specifically? Is this through an email to hypothetically a dead email box?
A lot of it comes through what they call the PPR, Periodic Program Review Process. If it's a SAP or Controlled Access Program.
You're
equity,
a SAP.
And those go to the specific committees, whether it be the SAS, CASC, HISI.
Thank you. I apologize. My time is limited. Mr. Graves, one of your main concerns is that the FAA currently does not have an official process to receive reports of UAP from pilots or others, correct?
Correct.
And in your experience, what data should the Aero program prioritize for potential collection? We have,
Is
location,
aliens the
date,
one
time,
thing
but are
that
there
I could
other
agree with
specific
AOC on? Is that what we're
characteristics
seeing?
that should be included in these reports.
Certainly. I think that there's two categories that would be important. One would be kinematics and understanding the specifics of how the vehicle or objects are moving. And the second would be a more zoomed out approach of being able to look at origin and destination before the incident, as well as getting a better contextual understanding of how these objects are interacting with each other.
Thank you. Now, because I only have a minute left, I apologize, we only have 5 minutes today, but for the record, if you were me, where would you look? Titles, programs, departments, regions, if you could just name anything. And I put that as an open question to the three of you.
I'd be happy to give you that in a closed environment. I can tell you specifically.
Thank you. Commander Fravor?
That's all that guy ever says, isn't
I
it?
would say, and I've told people that you have to know where to look. They're not going to divulge it to you because of the classification levels. But if you know where to look and who to talk to, which is exactly what Mr. Grush can point you, then you have them.
Okay. Mr. Graves?
I was an operator, so I was depending on folks like Mr. Grush to do that homework.
Okay. Thank you very much. I yield back to the chair.
Well, that was
Mr.
pointless.
Biggs? Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I thank the witnesses for
Now,
being
where's
here
the part
today.
I actually wanted to see?
Thank you so much for being here. I want to get into
anything that shows up. And they saw a sequence of 4 craft
Okay, I'll give Matt
in a
Gates a
clear
chance
diamond
too.
formation for which there is flight crew. We were Several months ago, my office received a protected disclosure from Eglin Air Force Base indicating that there was a UAP incident that required my attention. I sought a briefing regarding that episode and brought with me Congressman Burchett and Congresswoman Luna. We asked to see any of the evidence that had been taken by flight crew in this endeavor and to observe any radar signature as well as to meet with the flight crew. We were not afforded access to all of the flight crew. And initially, we were not afforded access to images and to radar. Thereafter, we had a bit of a discussion about how authorities flow in the United States of America, and we did see the image. And we did meet with one member of the flight crew who took the image. The image was of something that I am not able to attach to any human capability, either from the United States or from any of our adversaries. And I'm somewhat informed on the matter, having served on the Armed Services Committee for 7 years, having served on the committee that oversees DARPA and advanced technologies for several years. When we spoke with the flight crew, and when he showed us the photo that he'd taken, I asked why the video wasn't engaged, why we didn't have a FLIR system that worked. Here's what he said. They were out on a test mission that day over the Gulf of Mexico. And when you're on a test mission, you're supposed to have clear airspace. Not supposed to be anything that shows up. And they saw a sequence of 4 craft in a clear diamond formation for which there is
His question is sounding a lot more like a
radar
statement.
sequence that I alone have observed in the United States Congress. One of the pilots goes to check out that diamond formation and sees a large floating, what I can only describe as an orb. Again, like I said, not of any human capability that I'm aware of. And when he approached, he said that his radar went down. He said that his FLIR system
What's up, QRD? We're learning about aliens.
to manually take this image.
I am eventually going to go back to Mass
lenses,
Effect,
and
because
it was
really
not
that's what I wanted to
automated,
do was play Mass
automated,
Effect. But
in collection, as you would typically see.
I was
in
having a hard
test
time doing
mission.
both at the same time.
I guess I'll start with Commander Fravor. How should we think about the fact that this craft that was approached by our pilot had the capability of disarming a number of the sensor and collection systems on that craft?
Well, I think this goes to that national security side, and you can go back through history of things showing up at certain areas and disabling our capabilities, which is disheartening. And for us, I mean, like I said, it completely disabled the radar on the aircraft when it tried to do it, and the only way we could see it is passively, which is how he got that image. So I think that's a concern on what are these doing, not only how do they operate, but their capabilities inside to do things like this.
And how should we think about four craft moving in a very clear formation, equidistant?
What does that
one
question
another?
even mean? How should we think about it? I don't even understand what is what is the question?
In a
Is he trying to? Is it aliens? Is that really what he wants to say?
diamond, in all of the phenomenon, perhaps, Mr. Grave, that you've analyzed, have we ever seen multiple craft in a single formation?
I have one particular case, and that was during the gimbal incident. The recording on the AT FLIR system shows a single object that rotates. You hear the pilots refer to a fleet of objects that is not visible on the FLIR system, and that was something that I witnessed during the debrief as part of the radar data on the situational awareness page. I would like to add, however, Congressman, there's a small bit of anger, I would say. I would feel that those pilots are still facing that difficulty in reporting this topic, and they don't have the tools to be able to mitigate this issue. It just goes to show how serious this is and why this is such an important issue for our pilots and for our nation.
It was stated explicitly to me by these test pilots that if you have a UAP experience, the best thing you can do for your career is forget it and not tell anyone. Because any type of reporting, either above the surface or below the surface, does have a perceived consequence to these people, and that is a culture we must change if we want to get to the truth. Mr. Chairman, I would observe that perhaps as we move forward from this hearing...
You're telling me people think that if you believe in aliens, you're a crazy person? Now, of course, we all know that is true, but I'm just now realizing, what the hell was I thinking? I should have been wearing my UFO hat. There we go. That's better. No wonder I was having a hard time keeping up with all this UFO stuff. I wasn't wearing my UFO hat. There we go. Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready.
There are some obvious next steps. Every person watching this knows that we need to meet with Mr. Grush in a secure, compartmentalized facility so that we can get fulsome answers that do not put him in jeopardy and that give us the information we need. Second, I would suggest that the radar images that were collected of this formation of craft out of Eglin Air Force...
Hey, the aliens government might have a conspiracy to mess with us. I don't know. It could be a conspiracy from the alien government to keep them hidden.
Force Base, and specifically the actual image taken by the actual flight crew that we can actually validate, be provided to the committee, subpoenaed if necessary, so that we're able to track how to get this type of reporting and analysis done in a more fulsome way. That would be my recommendation, humbly, as a guest here of the Fine Oversight Committee. I yield back.
Ms. Mays.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning to our witnesses who are testifying today.
Oh, and here's the part I actually wanted to hear.
Discuss a topic of grave importance to our national security. Earlier this year, a Chinese spy balloon was shot down off the coast of my home state of South Carolina. Since the Roswell incident in 1947, many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects crisscrossing our skies. Whether these are UAPs or weather phenomena, advanced technology from American allied or enemy forces, or something more.
I guess we're just seeing more talking about this in the government in the open now because we have had enough people, younger people, get into government. So there's like two generations of people in the government now. The two younger generations that grew up watching alien movies and reading conspiracy books and watching documentaries on Discovery Channel and History Channel, Ancient Aliens, and now they're finally in government and they're like, damn it, I'm going to get them to tell me about the aliens. You're going to do it. Tell me about the aliens.
Out of this world. So my first question, I have several questions, and if we can just be quick on these first two, I'm going to ask each of you the same question, and then I'll get to each of you individually. The first one, when you reported your experiences with a UAP, did any of you face any repercussions with your superiors, yes or no?
No.
No. I've actually never seen anything personally, believe it or not. So.
All right. And then do you believe there's an active disinformation campaign within our government to deny existence of UAPs, yes or no?
I don't have an answer to that.
As previously stated publicly, yes.
I think previously with like Project Blue Book, yes, but currently I don't speak for the United States government.
Okay, thank you. I have a few questions for Mr. Graves. What percentage of UAP sightings in your belief go unreported by our pilots?
This is an approximation based off of my personal experience speaking with a number of pilots, but I would estimate we're somewhere near 5% reporting perhaps.
So like 95% basically don't report seeing UAPs?
That's just my personal estimate.
No, I hate
In the
UAP.
incident off Virginia Beach, do you believe the Navy took the danger to your aircraft seriously after it was reported?
Absolutely.
A few questions for Mr. Favor. As an expert naval aviator, have you ever seen an object that looked and moved like the Tic Tac UAP?
No.
Did the Tic Tac UAP move in such a way that defied the laws of physics?
The way we understand them, yes.
Many dismiss UAP reports as classified weapons testing by our own government, but in your experience as a pilot, does our government typically test advanced weapon systems right next to multi-million-dollar jets without informing our pilots?
No, we have test ranges for that.
It took over 15 years for your encounter with the Tic Tac to be declassified. Do you feel there was a good reason to prevent lawmakers from having access to this footage?
No, I just think it was ignored when it happened, and it just sat somewhere in a file. Never got reported.
In a drawer. It happens a lot up here. Shocker. Mr. Gresh, a couple of questions for you too, sir, this morning. What percentage of UAPs do you feel are adequately investigated by the U.S. government, of the 5% that are reported?
I can only speak for my personal leadership over at NGA. I tried to look at every report that came through that I could triage. So.
Do you believe that officials at the highest levels of our national security apparatus have unlawfully withheld information from Congress and subverted our oversight authority?
There are certain elected leaders that had more information that I'm not sure what they've shared with certain Gang of Eight members or et cetera, but certainly I would not be surprised.
Okay. You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
Okay, I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super, thank you, and I yield back.
I can't remember what that guy's name is that's sitting behind him with the tattoos, but he's one of those famous ufologists, whatever they want to be called. I don't know. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. They have biologics from outer space, which I think is just nifty. But more importantly, yeah, Mass Effect. Why listen to speculation about aliens when you can just kill some? Okay. For the love of God, that's loud. Pistol is the most powerful weapon I have. Oh yeah, my power wheel. Shield boost, alright. The heck? Oh. Oh, where's my sniper rifle? Look at this big boy. That's what I get for messing with my messing with the sound. This variable zoom? Yes, it is. Right in the face. Goodbye. What's up? You missed the always entertaining government hearings about aliens. And by that I mean it was not very entertaining at all. Come on, stick your head up. Or don't. I don't care.
Set the charges. Destroy the entire colony. Leave no evidence that we were here.
Oh, an environmentalist. Leave no trace. Oh. I've got it still zoomed in. My bad.
Demolition charges. The Geth must have planted them.
Hurry! We need to find them all and shut them down.
Will do. I am on it. Jeez, what the hell? That was weird. It's like he turned and looked at the guy behind him. Did you just shoot? Oh, no, that was them. Oh, man, I suck. What? That didn't drop you? Thank you. Man, I need to get some better weapons. Oh, wait, is this the one where you don't... Whoa. You don't have ammo, it just... It's like power or whatever? Yeah, I guess so. Energy weapons or whatever. Which makes way more sense than when they changed it to you actually having bullets. That doesn't make sense at all. Stick your head up, I dare you. Why are these guys... These guys spend a lot of time just hiding, don't they? Oh, jeez. This is my jam. Check out this ragdoll physics. Beautiful. Damn. That guy can sure take a beating. Oh, come on, QRD. You know the answer is yes. You know somebody would. People do that kind of stuff on Earth already with strange things. Oh, one charge remaining. My bad, I forgot. Wait a minute. Well, where the hell is it? I forgot that I was supposed to be looking for those damn things. Oh, there it is. They just followed the Captain Kirk formula for this. Oh, apparently. Oh, geez. I didn't realize I even had a timer. I've been screwing around. Did I just blow right past it and now I'm going to die? That's what I get for not paying attention. We made it. The Prothean beacon.
Normandy, the beacon is secure.
This is amazing. Actual working Prothean technology. Unbelievable.
It wasn't doing anything like that when they dug it up. Something must have activated it.
Roger, Normandy. Standing by.
Doing remote play through my PlayStation. It's having a hard time.
Shepard! No, don't touch it! Too dangerous!
You know, the graphics in this still kind of hold up. I feel like it's... I always expect it to be much worse.
We identified the ship that touched down on Eden Prime. The Normandy, a human alliance vessel. It was under the command of Captain Anderson. They managed to save the colony.
And the beacon.
One of the humans may have used it.
Damn humans. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
This human must be eliminated.
I couldn't agree more.
Dr. Chakwas, I think he's waking up.
Dr. Chakwas.
You had us worried there. How are you feeling?
You know what? I'm okay.
Minor throbbing. Nothing serious. How long was I out?
About 15 hours. Something happened down there with the beacon, I think.
It's my fault. I must have triggered some kind of security field when I approached it. You had to push me out of the way.
Where's the beacon now? What happened to it?
The beacon exploded. A system overload, maybe. The blast knocked you cold. The lieutenant and I carried you back here to the ship.
Oh, well, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Physically,
What was
you're
that look
fine.
she just gave?
But I detected some unusual brain activity. Abnormal beta waves. I also noticed an increase in your
Whoa.
rapid eye
I do not
Signs
have
typically
beta
associated
waves.
with intense dreaming.
Only alpha waves going on here.
I saw... I'm not sure what I saw. Death? Destruction? Nothing's really clear.
I better add this to my report. It may... Oh, Captain Anderson.
How's our XO holding up?
Mr.
All the
Anderson.
readings look normal. I'd say the commander's going to be fine.
Glad to hear it. Shepard, I need to speak with you. In private.
Aye, Captain. I'll be in the mess if you need me.
Sounds like that beacon hit you pretty hard, Commander. Are you sure you're okay?
I'm good.
I'll live.
I won't lie to you, Shepard. Things look bad. Nihilus is dead. The beacon was destroyed and Geth are invading. The Council's going to want answers.
Who gives a shit about the council?
I didn't do anything wrong, Captain. Hopefully the Council can see that.
I'll stand behind you and your report, Shepard. You're a damned hero in my books. That's not why I'm here. It's Saren, that other Turian. Saren's a Spectre, one of the best, a living legend. But if he's working with the Geth, it means he's gone rogue. A rogue Spectre's trouble. Saren's dangerous, and he hates humans.
I'm not particularly fond of them either, sir.
He didn't come to Eden Prime because he hates humans.
You're right. Saren has allied himself with the Geth. I don't know how. I don't know why. But it had something to do with that beacon. You were there just before that beacon self-destructed. Did you see anything? Any clue that might tell us what Saren was after?
Oh, I saw some shit, let me tell you.
Just before I lost consciousness, I had some kind of vision.
A vision? A vision of what?
I saw synthetics. Geth, maybe. Slaughtering people. Butchering them.
We need to report this to the Council, Shepard.
What are we gonna tell him? I had a bad dream?
Yes.
We don't know what information was stored in that beacon. Lost Prothean technology? Blueprints for some ancient weapon of mass destruction? Whatever it was. Saren took it. But I know
We're
Saren.
still going
I
after
know his
weapons of
reputation
mass
in
destruction?
He believes humans are a blight on the galaxy. This attack was an act of war.
He's definitely not wrong about that.
From the beacon. He has an army of Geth at his command, and he won't stop until he's wiped humanity from the face of the galaxy.
Not if I can help it.
I'll find some way to take him down.
It's not that easy. He's a Spectre. He can go anywhere, do almost anything. That's why we need the Council on our side.
We prove Saren's gone rogue, and the Council will revoke his Spectre status.
I'll contact the Ambassador and see if he can get us an audience with the Council. He'll want to see us as soon as we reach the Citadel. We should be getting close. Head up to the bridge and tell Joker to bring us into dock.
Yeah, I always expect this first game to have worse graphics than this.
Hey, Commander.
It's pretty much the same as the second game.
Good timing, Commander. I was just about to bring us into the Citadel. See that taxpayer money at work.
Yeah. Taxpayer money at work. They build roads, man.
Ship. The Ascension, flagship of the Citadel fleet.
Well, size isn't everything.
Why so touchy, Joker?
I'm just saying you need firepower, too.
Look at that monster. Its main gun could rip through the barriers in any ship in the Alliance fleet.
Good thing it's on our side, then.
Citadel Control, this is SSV Normandy, requesting permission to land.
Stand by for clearance, Normandy. Clearance granted. You may begin your approach. Transferring you to an Alliance operator.
Roger, Alliance Tower. Normandy out.
Normandy, this is Alliance Tower. Please proceed to Dock 422.
Whoa.
This is an outrage! The Council would step in if the Geth attacked a Turian colony?
Tell me about it.
The Turians don't found colonies on the borders of the Terminus systems, Ambassador.
Humanity was well aware of the risks when you went into the Traverse.
What about Saren? You can't just ignore a rogue Spectre. I demand action! You don't get to make demands of the Council, Ambassador.
Citadel Security is investigating your
What is a
charges
council
against
for
Saren.
if not
We
to
will
make
discuss the
demands
CSEC
of?
findings at the hearing, not
That's what I
before.
want to know.
Captain Anderson, I see you brought half your crew with you.
Just the ground team from Eden Prime, in case you had any questions.
I have the mission reports. I assume they're accurate?
They are.
This fucking guy.
Sounds like you can
This guy over here.
They were not happy about it. Saren's their top agent. They don't like him being accused of treason.
Saren's a threat to every human colony out there. He needs to be stopped. The Council has to listen to us.
Settle down, Commander. You've already done more than enough to jeopardize your candidacy for the Spectres. The mission on Eden Prime was a chance to prove you could get the job done. Instead, Nihilus ended up dead and the beacon was destroyed.
That's Saren's fault, not his.
Then we better hope the CSEC investigation turns
Whoa,
up
what the
evidence to
hell? Why
support
does it
our
keep
accusation.
glitching out?
Otherwise, the Council
What
uses it
the-
as an excuse to keep you others. Come with me, Captain. Shepard, You and the others can meet us at the Citadel Tower.
My connection
top level.
keeps getting messed
I'll make
up.
sure you have clearance to get in.
And that's why I hate politicians.
That's it? That's the only reason? Man. I gotta say, I have more than one reason why I hate politicians. Follow the pulsing arrow on your radar to the Citadel Tower. Well then. Yeah, I don't care. I'm a soldier. I'm a grunt. I don't care. Read things? That's dumb. Who came up with that one? I must have ended up on Wi-Fi instead of Ethernet.
My reputation is at stake. I spoke with the consort in confidence, and
Dang it. Not what I wanted to click on. Hey, give me some more dialogue, bro.
and she betrayed that confidence.
Oh, yeah. Photo mode. Look at this dude. That is one good looking SOB. And there's Danny DeVito. Whoa. What did they call these guys again?
All right. I will look into it for you. In the meantime, do not do anything rash. Hello there, human. Sincere apology, but I am here on business and cannot be distracted right now.
You seem distressed. Is there something I can do to help?
Alarmed response. You overheard that, did you? This is all.
Well, I didn't have the
wrong.
voices turned up all the
And it
way,
is
so
the
I
sorry consort's
caught
fault.
part of it.
She's the one who started all this.
What did this Asari do to get you so upset?
I cannot speak more about this problem. It is too sensitive. Suffice it to say, she has compromised my authority as a diplomat.
Oh.
Good luck with your problem.
Thanks to you, human. Good day.
I don't really care.
Pleased greeting. Human, it is always good to see your kind. I am Ambassador Kalen. Genuine query. Is there something I can do for you this day?
What do you do here?
Modestly. I work
Ah,
within
no
the
one cares.
problems and the requests.
They only give us these positions to keep us quiet. The Council doesn't care about our races.
Chastising rebuke.
Now that is true.
Your tone is inappropriate, Din. This human is not to blame for your malcontent or your misconceived suspicions.
Oh, it's not
Goodbye,
misconceived.
Sincere
Misconceived.
farewell. Good day to you, human.
I don't
Enjoy
talk
your
to
time
these
on the
little
Citadel.
guys. I mean, look at this guy. Din Korlak? I would never talk to someone named Din Korlak. Which I think is absolutely reasonable.
Welcome to the Presidium. Allow me to be your guide. Greetings and welcome to the Presidium. My name is Avina, and I am pleased to be your virtual guide throughout this level of the Citadel space station.
Yeah, no thanks.
I don't need a guide.
Yeah.
Our records
I let my
indicate this is your
conscience be
first
my
time on the
guide.
Citadel. A brief orientation session is customary. Please allow me to do my job.
Ugh. Do I really need to ask her, are you real? I mean, obviously, it's not real. Shepard, are you... What
Are you a
dunce.
person or a program?
I am a fully interactive virtual intelligence, programmed to provide spontaneous guidance at predetermined
Fully
locations
interactive?
of interest throughout this level of the Citadel. I may also be contacted through any of the Presidium VI terminals, should you require assistance.
Give me the tour.
You are standing at Presidium Tourism Terminal 1. On either side of this lobby are the embassies of the various Citadel races, along with CSEC headquarters. On the far end of this level, you can see the Citadel Tower, where the Council meets regularly to discuss matters of interstellar importance.
Well,
Goodbye.
that's where I'm headed.
Goodbye, and thank you for
You could
using
say that I'm something of interstellar importance.
Citadel.
I think I'll call it after I have my confrontation with the council, because I think something happened and I'm on Wi-Fi now, which is making it lag. Why in the name of God would the camera start this way?
Saren's hiding something. Give me more time. Stall them.
Stall the council? Don't be ridiculous. Your investigation is over, Garrus.
Hey, I
Commander
know
Shepard,
you.
Garrus Vicarian. I was the officer in charge of the CSEC investigation into Saren.
Come across anything I should know about?
Saren's a Spectre. Most of his activities are classified.
Whoa, whoa,
Couldn't
whoa.
find anything solid. But
A
I know he's up to
Spectre?
something. Like you humans say, I feel it.
That's their word.
I think the Council's ready for us, Commander.
Good luck, Shepard. Maybe they'll listen to you.
Later, G. That's what I call him. We're best buds. I call him G. Look at this slick ass guy. Pretty fly for a... I guess he wasn't white, but... Pretty fly for a brown guy.
The hearing's already started. Come on.
The Geth attack is a matter of some concern, but there is nothing to indicate Saren was involved in any way.
The investigation by Citadel Security turned up
What
no
about my
evidence to support your
direct,
charge of treason.
first-hand
An
experience?
eyewitness saw him kill Nihilus in cold blood.
We've read the Eden Prime reports, Ambassador. The testimony of one traumatized dock worker is hardly compelling proof.
I resent these accusations. Nihilus was a fellow Spectre and a friend.
That just let you catch him off guard.
Captain Anderson, you
Mr.
always seem to be
Anderson.
involved when humanity makes false charges against me. And this must be your protege, Commander Shepard, the one who let the beacon get destroyed.
The mission to Eden Prime was top secret. The only way you could know about the beacon was if you were there.
Oh.
With Nihilus gone, his files passed on to me. I
Ah,
read the Eden Prime
I thought I got
report.
him there.
I was unimpressed. But what can you expect from a human?
Saren despises humanity. That's why he attacked Eden Prime.
Your species needs to learn its place, Shepard.
Damn.
You're not ready to join the Council.
This guy.
You're not even ready to join the Spectres.
He just called me his
There's no right to say
houseboy.
that. That's not his decision.
Shepard's admission into the Spectres is not the purpose of this meeting.
This meeting has no purpose. The humans are wasting your time, Counselor. Mine.
Oh, I'm gonna go off. Let's go off.
You can't hide behind the Council forever.
Oh, really?
There's
That's
still
it?
one outstanding issue. Commander Shepard's vision. It may have been triggered by the beacon.
Are we allowing dreams into evidence now?
I knew you would
How
say
can I
that.
defend my innocence against this kind of testimony? I agree. Our judgment must be based on facts and evidence, not wild imaginings and
Facts and
reckless
logic.
speculation.
Do you have anything else to add, Commander Shepard?
What's the point?
You've made your decision. I won't waste my breath.
The Council has found no evidence of any connection between Saren and the Geth. Ambassador, your petition to have him disbarred from the Spectres is denied.
I'm glad to see justice was served.
Of course he's connected to the Geth. Look at him. He's a
This meeting is
hologram.
adjourned.
It was a mistake bringing you into that hearing, Captain. You and Saren have too much history. It made the Council question our motives.
I know
motives.
Saren. He's working with the Geth for one reason. To exterminate the entire human race. Every colony we have is at risk. Every world we control is in danger. Even Earth isn't safe.
Tell me about this history between you and Saren.
I worked with him on a mission a long time ago. Things went bad. Real bad.
Yeah, I worked that part out for myself.
But I know what he's like. And he has to be stopped.
What's our next step?
As a Spectre, he's virtually untouchable. We need to find some way to expose him.
What about Garrus, that CSEC investigator?
G?
We saw him arguing with the Executor.
That's
me
right.
and G are
He was
tight.
asking for more time to finish his report. Seems like he was close to finding something on Saren.
Any idea where we could find him?
I have a contact in CSEC who can track Garrus down. His name is Harkin.
Forget it. They suspended Harkin last month, drinking on the job. I won't waste my time.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
You won't have to. I don't want the Council using your past history with Saren as an excuse to ignore anything we turn up. Shepard will handle this.
I'll take care of it.
And I'm going to
need
go have a
take
drink
care of
with
some
Harkin.
business. Captain, meet me in my office later.
Harkin's probably getting drunk at Cora's Den.
Yeah.
It's a dingy little club in the lower section of the wards.
I thought you said he was a drunken loser.
Couldn't hurt to go talk to him. Just be careful. I wouldn't call him reliable.
He sounds like the most reliable person that I've spoken to yet. Yeah, I don't care about that.
I should go.
Good luck, Shepard. I'll be over in the ambassador's office if you need anything else.
I'll be in the ambassador's lounge. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to keep playing for a while tonight, but I think, like I said, I think something's wrong with my internet, and it's switched over to Wi-Fi for some reason, so I have to figure out why that's happening, and then I'll be able to fix the lag problems. But of course, if you like games, you can subscribe to the second channel, which is there's a link out there somewhere. The Swamp Plays channel. All right, guys, that's our night. That's our night with aliens. I hope you had a good time. I'm not sure how they were able to make a hearing about aliens boring, but they managed to do it. Never underestimate the federal government. That's all I can say. Take something that should be incredibly interesting and make it boring as hell. All right, guys. Have a good night. And I'll see you tomorrow. I think I'm going to do a stream tomorrow night about climate activists. I've been compiling a bunch of videos. So don't miss that. Don't miss that. My favorite segment for all of my streams, climate activists getting what they deserve, which is always worth a few laughs. All right, guys. I hope you liked the stream and you're subscribed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.